Are you ready for your window shoppers to become paying customers? Ecwid is here to make that happen. With dynamic Facebook retargeting, we'll show the exact product visitors saw on your site but didn't purchase wherever they go on Facebook and Instagram, automatically. So sign up now in your Ecwid control panel in the marketing section and look for the Facebook remarketing app. And if you sign up now and spend $50 by December 24th, you receive a free $100 advertising credit from our friends at Facebook. So get after this. Rich, did you hear that? So you just need to spend $50 and get $100 of magic Facebook ads. Get after this. Okay, back to the show.
This is the Ecwid E-Commerce Show with your host, Jesse Ness, along with Richard O'Tay.
Richie, happy Friday. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Another Friday, another recording session. Looking nice and, well, for the most part, sunny.
Nice and sunny.
We don't have the smoke from the
fires, yeah. By the way, I did change our release date, so now people are going to actually hear this on Fridays, so they can get into the Friday spirit of what do I need to work on my business this weekend, and hopefully get some tips along the way.
Nice.
Yeah. So today we've been talking about all sorts of fancy features lately, all this automated Google Shopping and Instagram and kind of a lot of the fancy stuff. So I think today is a day to maybe get back to basics. And I'm thinking of this as a little bit of an SEO school day.
I love it.
All right. So today we're bringing in Alan Bush from Ignite Visibility. The reason we're bringing in Alan as the SEO school day is because he teaches a class on SEO at UCSD. What's going on, Alan?
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great to be here. I love the studio.
Yeah, I know. You were a little jealous here. You were telling me.
I was.
Yeah.
I really want this in my house.
Well, that can be arranged. I mean, yeah.
We'll talk on the side.
Do you have an extra bedroom that can be converted to a studio? Yeah. I don't think I'd get away with that at my house. All good.
Just bring a cot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, definitely come on in anytime. This is our Friday recording.
I love it.
So, can we call you the professor? Or?
Yeah, it's weird because I do have people calling me professor or instructor or teacher, and or Mr. Bush, like Professor Bush. Like, it's so strange to hear that from people. I'm like, I'm just Alan. It's okay.
Yeah. Just a guy.
Yeah, just a guy.
I know SEO. Yeah. So, what about a lot of the people listening here when they probably saw this podcast title are thinking, all right, SEO, I know I have to do this. I want to rank. I want to be on page 1 for Google on every single term. What do I do?
That's not always realistic, but I understand it.
So yeah, let's give us some realistic advice here and things that people can apply. How do you start off your classes?
Well, it really starts with kind of educating people on what SEO is, of course. Search engine optimization is basically free, quote-unquote, free traffic that when people do a search, they're finding your website and they're going to make a purchase, hopefully. But a lot of people think that they need to rank for the top term. Like back in the day, it was all about ranking for the thing you're selling. And that's it, and you win off of 2 or 3 different terms. But that's not the case anymore because now there's so many different ways of digesting content, digesting information, asking questions. Like, it's not just about ranking for one term, but a myriad of terms that you really want to be a part of. So I think that people need to kind of refocus their energies and provide value and become thought leaders in whatever it is that they're selling.
Okay. Yeah. Thought leaders is a big word, though.
Yeah.
What if I just want to sell some stuff here? So
let's break that one down too, because thought leader, that term even gets thrown around.
It does. There's so many people talking about that.
And really, what you're referring to at its basic level, because I get the joke Jesse's saying here, but at its basic level, thought leadership is you're just creating content of which you show your thinking about this subject.
Yes.
Hence thought.
Yeah.
And you're putting something down, trying to lead some sort of belief or idea or education or whatever, depending upon what you're doing.
Yeah. My biggest thing is that if you listen to Simon Sinek, The Power of Why, that changed 100% how I think of what SEO is, what marketing is in general, because he gives the example of, and I advise anybody in your listenership to listen to Simon Sinek's The Power of Why.
We'll put a link on the blog.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, because, and I'm not, I don't work for the guy. This is something that just changed my thinking. So basically it's saying, people will follow you. They don't necessarily want to just buy your product. They follow your belief system. So they're willing, like you use Apple as an example. They sell an idea rather than sell a product. So if you're trying to buy, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, but if you try to, you'd almost think it absurd to buy a music device from Dell, for example.
Sure.
But because they're a computer company. But in reality, we buy that type of stuff because we're comfortable with the way Apple sells their messaging. So we're willing to buy almost anything from them. We'll buy a phone. We'll buy a music device. We'll buy a computer. We'll buy a monitor. All those. Buy a watch. You know what I mean? So like from Apple, and because we believe in their products and believe in their belief system and not just their products. So I think it's important that people convey that they believe what their consumers believe, and they get them to be on board related to that. And that will help drive your SEO, trust me, because people are really more about the types of content that you put out there will be more related to how you believe, and then rather than just selling your product.
Sure.
Well, some people, sadly enough, believe it as deep as I do that they even keep their boxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I still have all my Apple product boxes. It's the only product I buy that I still have a box. I'm like, what is... Like, is there something stuck in my subconscious or something?
I need that logo in front of me all the time.
That's weird. That's weird, man. You should just throw the boxes away.
Have you ever noticed? Like, next time you buy a new phone, open that box and tell me you're not noticing.
It is impressive. It is impressive, and people make videos about it. Put it on YouTube. So, for somebody that wants to be a thought leader in their niche, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I think that's a good way to think about it, because being a thought leader also allows you to figure out, all right, what the heck am I going to write about?
Yeah.
Right. Like, like taking it down to the basic level is, all right, I have this product. Everybody's telling me to watch this Simon Sinek and be a thought leader, but what's the first step?
It's a step. Yeah.
What do I write about?
Right. Yeah.
So actually we had some very, very cool ladies on the last pod. So if you're listening to this in order, so I'm trying to think of advice that we would give them specifically. So they sell a glasses that's it's like a reading glasses, but it only has one side, so they can put on their makeup. So if you want to put on makeup and you want to do your eyes and stuff, you got this little glasses you can flip over. So,
how funny!
But here's just because I want to tack on to what he's saying. The fundamental thing is we came to realize that no one knows about this product yet. Mm-hmm. So fundamentally, what would they do for creating thought leadership and search terms when nobody knows? They need to be educated first.
And that's exactly it. You have to educate the public. What's the benefit of having this type of product with these glasses, or people that are and you think about people who are nearsighted or farsighted, or they need things, like you said, to read. If they're avid readers, what kind of people are avid readers? Then what we can target that demographic, because those people that are I would imagine if they're reading a lot, then they may be educated, or they have a job where they have to read a lot, so they might be editors or librarians or whatever it is. Then you hone in on your persona. And persona is a fancy word for who's buying your product most, right? Mm-hmm. And you develop a persona and say, okay, hey, these people are the types of people that we're really targeting. I imagine, since you mentioned it was makeup related, probably primarily female.
Primarily older females.
Older female.
That,
because they need reading glasses, but they still want to put their makeup on.
Right, exactly.
So if you can't see, and you have to take your glasses off to put on your makeup, like, it could be a mess, right?
So basically, you get to see with one eye at a time while you're doing the makeup of the other eye, and then you flip
and have everything focused. Yeah. That's pretty clever.
It's a clever little product, mm-hmm. but it's kind of weird. Like, you're not wearing these around.
Right.
You're not probably talking about that much. You just want to put on your makeup, and you can't wear your regular glasses.
And you don't even know to type in one-eyed makeup
glasses, monocle or whatever it is.
You got to create the new term for that.
Correct.
So it's kind of the term we talked about was makeup glasses.
Yeah.
So how do they become the thought leaders using the term makeup glasses?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. And so that term probably doesn't really get a lot of searches. We would probably use a tool to figure that out. Yeah. I mean, there are tools out there, like one of them is called SEMrush, where you could plug in a keyword and see how much search volume this has. It's something that I think that it is a paid tool, so you probably have to look around for things that actually give you a little bit more information, like SpyFu is another one. Okay. And I know we were talking about this a little earlier before the show, to see if there's any searches around that term.
So for anybody out there now, for Donna and Andrea, you can go to
Yeah,
SEM Rush and
some
type
coaching.
in makeup glasses. But for anybody else out there, think about the word that you think you want to rank for, that you're like, no, this is what I sell. I'm pretty sure of it. Go to semrush.com or spyfood.com and type in those words, and you'll start to see a bunch of results.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to pay for these either. There's paid versions of these that are there's all sorts of fancy stuff you can get. But the basics is, what do I sell? And then what does Google say? How many people are searching for this?
Yeah.
And then how do you take that into becoming a thought leader? Like, what is taking those two terms? There's two words.
Yeah.
How do we turn that into they got to write a blog about this? Right?
Yeah, and you don't want to just start off writing a blog about makeup glasses, because it's like, what no one knows what that is, no one's searching for it. So you got to think of the reason why someone would need that, and then the people that are utilizing that. And what's the benefit of having the class that I teach is that I can crowdsource and get ideas from people and say, okay, hey, everybody tell me what the first word you think of when we think of makeup, for example. And I'll make a list of different things, and then people will give me ideas, and a room full of a lot of different demographics there. Okay, what about glasses? Reading, this, vision, I need to see, etc. Okay, great. And then we'll spawn off into different ideas, because you could actually connect the dots between the categories that we assigned and then make an idea out of that. And then I would think that also there are tools that help you, that will even help generate ideas. If you need just type in a word, reading or makeup or whatever it is, and it'll give you a list of questions that people commonly ask, or common pain points, or like prepositions that relate to ideas that people are typing in. Because right now, like I said, with Google, back in the day, it was like you type in one or two words and you get a bunch of things that you need. Now people are asking questions, and people are typing in full sentences. And then with the advent of like the audio, I mean, one of the big things for me now is how do we prepare for voice search? People are buying products and they don't even want to leave their house, and they don't even want to go to a computer anymore. They just want to yell out something, and they're, hey, whatever the tool is.
Toilet paper.
I need some toilet paper. What's the best toilet paper? What's the softest toilet paper out there? And then that might become a query that a lot of people are asking. So then you would just generate some content around what people are asking, what pain points people have, and why they need your product. Then you funnel them into what you do. And I think it's better to capture that audience that isn't aware of it. And I have an acronym that I use called ARC, A-R-C. It's awareness. You need to be aware of it. So think about what terms would bring people aware of your product. What is that? Okay, then you funnel them into, all right, maybe they're doing research. That's the R. So, all right, well, how does this product compare to other products of like? Why can't I just wear my reading glasses? Why can't I just use a magnifying mirror? It's like, well, it's more portable. I can think of like ideas of what to contrast why people would question what you're selling. All right, well, it's a portable thing. And if you're on the go, if you're on a train, if you're on a plane, if you're in a bus, you're with a guy named Russ, whatever it is. We can do the Dr. Seuss. But essentially, you can give them reasons why they need your product. Then you funnel them into, you want to buy this. All right, buy online. And then that's when you use words like online, purchase, buy, cheap, or inexpensive, or value. And that just, and I think most people understand what they sell. So the conversion words are very easy to do. But it's really, for SEO, I feel like the benefit is generating content either through blogs or through graphics or a video or audio, as we're doing now, to bring people aware and cast that wide net of like, hey, this is the top 10 tips for vision, and here's a thing. Oh, here's a really interesting thing, makeup glasses. Oh, what's that? But you tie it into something that actually exists. So like, oh, we have these things. We have a magnifying mirror, and we also have makeup glasses. Yep. And then people get, oh, what's makeup glasses? Oh, I'm glad you asked. And then you say that, and then they're like, well, why would I need makeup glasses? I have a magnifying mirror. Well, it's portable, etc. I could go on the bus, I could go with Russ, whatever it is. And it's like, oh, I didn't think about that. That's actually a really clever concept. And then, do you want to buy one? Mm-hmm. You're capturing them, tying it into something that exists that's really good. Then you give them the research, and then you give them the conversion point.
That's good. So I think something I heard there was, okay, you have these keywords that you want to rank for. Don't necessarily go for the jugular there. Like,
exactly.
Don't just say, no, these are the two words I'm going to rank for these, and I'm going to just type these words over in every social profile.
Right.
Maybe take a step up from that and say, okay, what subset are these words a part of?
Yeah.
Right. And maybe make the an article about that or a list. Lists are in.
Lists are in. And I think it's also to understand you're casting a wide net of things. So you may not rank for that one thing, but you might rank for several small things. And if you're going after the big fish all the time, you miss all these other fish that are going by you, right?
Yeah.
So unless you have a huge budget or you have, you want to do paid ads or whatever, if you're a small mom and pop shop, it's better that you target the demographics that you know how to handle. Hey, who would buy my product? What are they talking about? Let me talk about that with them so they understand what my product is. Then they'll buy my product.
Yep.
You can't just keep going, like you said, go for the jugular. I think a lot, especially small businesses, they misunderstand that SEO is all about ranking for all your key terms. Well, actually, you could rank for several questions that revolve around the language around your keywords.
Yeah.
So it's like orbital language around your words. You could actually rank for those and to get a step up and then start ranking for that big stuff later.
Yeah.
You got to start off with the stuff that you know that you get some money going
Like maybe
in.
you won't. Yeah, maybe you won't rank for makeup glasses right away.
Right.
But if you start writing a bunch of content or recording or doing video that you say, well, how do I put on makeup when I need to wear glasses?
Yeah.
Right? That's
Provide
a question,
value.
right?
Yeah.
Answering that question or 25 other questions that I can't think of right now
Right,
that are pretty
yeah.
close.
Yeah, yeah.
Eventually you do rank for a bunch of stuff and
Yeah.
maybe it was you didn't even realize that was the right word, but
Exactly, yeah.
What are people yelling at their Alexa right now? Like, Alexa, how do I put on makeup when I can't see?
I can't see. Where are you, Alexa?
Yeah. So yell at your voice device.
yeah. Well, it's interesting too because and there's tools that help with that too. I think we alluded to that before the show. Is that there's a tool that I love called Answer the Public, answerthepublic.com. You type it in and you see this kind of creepy old guy that's looking at you, waiting for you to do something about it. But once you type in your word, you put makeup glasses or you put reading glasses, just as a general thing.
Sure.
It'll give you a list of questions and prepositions and such, and so that I think will help guide you about what people online are asking.
Okay.
And that could lead you to writing content or either writing a blog answering that question or creating an infographic or creating a video that talks about something really popular. So it's really helpful to, if you're not aware of, if you don't have a crowd of people to kind of crowdsource, then you can go to tools like that'll actually give you answers.
Sure.
Now, it's interesting too. Google actually provides that. So if you
just
type
start typing stuff in.
Yeah. You've seen that, right? With a little search comes
Suggestions.
up.
Suggest.
You start, the suggested things. So if you start typing something in, a list of things will actually come up. And if I'm not mistaken, if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, which no one does, there's a list of suggestions there too.
Oh, there's a bottom?
Yeah, exactly, right, yeah.
I didn't realize that. I just click on the first thing on the top of Google.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what most people do, unfortunately. But there is value to people scrolling down. And I think, people, you'll find that you'll have a lot of resources already available to you for free.
Okay.
And that you don't necessarily have to go reinventing the wheel. You can look at what people are doing and see, hey, I could actually add this to my website.
So from a 101 perspective, because this is perfect right here.
Yeah, this I think is the pull over your car and write this down.
Yeah,
moment.
is what? So they now decided we'll just run with this makeup glasses. They decided they're going to start creating content around this. They have different questions, like you said. How do you put on makeup when you have reading glasses on? Whatever the phrase is. They're obviously not putting this in their product description.
Right.
So, what exactly does this call to action for this beginner look like? They're writing this on their blog, and then they have a link that goes back to their product page for the ask. If you want it, buy it here. Or like, what's a good way for them to just start thinking about this as a process? Yeah.
So, all right, we'll just take a subset of this: travelers. You're now reaching the travel people that like to read. So all right, well, if you like to travel and you like to read, here's a benefit, and we'll write a blog about that and show you benefits of how this product can help you. And then I would write a blog, and then hopefully you have some kind of social media profiles that you may want to add. So I would think like Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest if you have a visual product. And there's a variety of it, Instagram, et cetera.
Yeah, that these days.
Yeah. All the kids are using that these days.
Kids.
Yeah. And they get on the Instagram And
your TikToks and your Vines.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Don't go crazy, everybody.
Right.
Get your Facebook and Instagram.
Pick a select few that you would be good at. Yeah. And then you could syndicate that blog or that image or whatever it is across those networks. But as you alluded to, when you have these things that you're syndicating, for example, you do want to link back to your product or back to your website or back to a call to action that you want them to take, because everything has value for SEO. I mean, internal linking actually does help. I mean, from a technical perspective, search engines looking at your website a little better. Yep. But also from a practical perspective, right? You got people. I'm going to show you a blog. Hey, look at this. Oh, great, that's a great article. Now what? Like they're just reading and that's wonderful. I know about the product. Now you're relying on them to go research the product and try to find you, or you give them an access point. So in your video, in your infographic, in your blog, make sure you make either a link or at least your brand somewhere in there, or sponsored by so and so, or if you're the influencer, for example, put your name in there or whatever it is, so that they follow you, know about your product, know about your brand, and hopefully click on that link and go back to your webpage where you have more information.
And basically for anybody that missed the part about the link does not mean here's the name of my store, go Google it. It means www.yoururl.com or
/ your product name.
To go directly to it.
Right.
That's a link.
Yeah, right, basically the easy way around it is go to the product and look at it on your site that you're looking at.
Yep.
Go up to the top URL.
Yeah.
Copy paste.
Exactly. And I think people forget that.
Control C, Control V. Just break it way back down.
Exactly. Yeah. And I always realize that some people have to be led to the product. It's so funny. Like I talk to my students about that all the time. It's like, this is a great image that you have here in front of your website, but like there is no call to action telling me what to do. And you'd be surprised how many people need that to say, look here for best value. Look here for the product. Look here for reading glasses. Look
Here's
here for
the
a
store.
tutorial.
Here's the buy now or shop online. Any of those words mean do more than just look at this pretty picture.
Exactly. Like don't just assume that they're going to find it. You got to guide them to the right direction.
Don't assume people will spend more than 2 seconds looking at it either.
Short attention span.
They want it now. So,
so true.
Yeah.
So now they have a blog post. We got the call to action back. They're going back. They have this formula now. Is there a certain amount of time that they should be putting into this? They got a lot of other things to be doing.
That's a great question.
Hopefully, they're shipping products left and right. How much time can
they have to spend time counting their money? Their sacks full of dollar bills that they got. No, I think it's important to allocate resources and or time to generating content. And I would say, on average, blog once a week if you can, but at least once a month. At least. I'd say twice a month at the minimum, and then once a week if you've got some resources. If you can't, maybe you hire someone to help you, get an intern or a family member to kind of write some stuff about what you're talking about. And it also sometimes helps to have a different voice. So it may be good to have somebody else on board and do that. I realized this is a thing I would do. All right. Okay. This is a real basic thing, but it requires a little bit of effort.
All right. Effort.
I know. What the heck?
I thought it was just going to be like,
I got to work now.
I click the SEO button here.
Yeah. And that's the thing. People think you just spend some money and you get SEO. No, you got to put in a little time and effort. That's with any marketing.
Every successful marketer, though.
Right. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Any successful marketer, anyone who's really on top of their game, puts in that effort, that extra effort, puts their voice into it.
Hit me with the effort.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll create a video about whatever pain point we discussed, right? Maybe a 5 to 10 minute long video. Now you have a resource. All right, it has audio in it, so we could rip that, put that on SoundCloud or whatever audio sources that we want to syndicate to. Maybe create some kind of podcast or an audio lesson. And then we also have the transcription of that audio, which becomes a blog post, right? Which we could then put on our website.
And where do you get the transcription?
You have to transcribe it. You either write out your script or you can have a service that will do that for you.
You listen to it.
REVrev.com will transcribe it.
There you go.
They're like $1 a minute.
Oh, okay. There you go. So 5 minutes, you got $5. Right?
All right.
There you go. So you got a 5-minute video. You put that on YouTube. Now you have a place to syndicate. Or there's other places too, like Vimeo, a couple other places. So you got it on YouTube. Got a link back from YouTube. You got the audio. You got a link.
And
back
how do I get this link in there?
Put it in the YouTube description.
So you upload the video. Write a little title there. Maybe you're using your one of your favorite words here that we learned from, are these other links we looked at.
Yeah.
And then the link is in the profile, right? Okay.
Correct.
Yep. And then all you got to do is do that. You don't even have to do the copy C this time because you've already done it prior for Jesse, and now you just copy V only.
Control V. Control V.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Control V.
And then make sure when you write and when you put content in other locations, if there's a ability to write a description and put a link in there, link back to your website because you're getting a free link from the place you're syndicating your content from too. And so you put the video there. You put the audio on SoundCloud.com or maybe iTunes if you want to start a podcast or something. And that's a whole other thing we'll get into. But then the transcription is a blog post that you put on your own website. And then if the video has some compelling imagery, you could either create some kind of graphic out of that or maybe a series of pictures that come from the video that you can put in Pinterest, for example, another social media platform, because they might be examples of what you're talking about. If you want to get really clever, you could take that make it a slideshow rather than just you could tell the story through a slideshow rather than through, just a video. So people who are on the go don't want to watch a video. And there's other places like slideshare.net, which is actually owned by LinkedIn. So now you've taken one idea and converted it into 5 pieces of content for different audiences that digest information differently. I loved when I've done podcasting, and I do podcasts as well, is they told me that they were listening to me on the way to work. So I didn't even need to be in front of a computer, and I'm reaching you now. And that's what's cool about that method of doing things. If you take a really hard thing, then break it into 5 things, now you exponentially increased your awareness and value by taking the time to do that one thing.
And this is all coming from one 5-minute video.
Right. Yeah.
So,
that's the hardest thing to do, though. Not everyone has resources and time to do that. But if I had the resources and or the time and the knowledge, that's what I would do. I'd probably hire someone to help me with the video and the stuff that you could do that's not that expensive.
And you could just have your friend hold up a phone and push their thumb on the thing. That's not...
just a demonstration video.
It's a start.
Yeah, it's definitely a start.
You could always upgrade.
Yeah, right. Start small. Start simple. A lot of this stuff doesn't happen overnight. You got to start simple, and you'd be surprised how many of the biggest names in the business. You take Richard Branson. He just started with a local record store, and now he's a billionaire. And he was broke. Yep. So I'm not saying you're going to become Richard Branson, but that's he started somewhere, and he took it exponentially built upon what he already did.
Okay,
and that's the way to think about it. And that's how SEO works.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there is work, all right, but
it's work.
So you think about what kind of video you would want to make, going back again to these words that you want to rank for and answer questions that people are asking. Pick up your phone, 5 minutes. If you have a friend with better video equipment, better audio, yes, that's better, of course.
But your phone takes really great videos nowadays. It's not. It used to be a lot harder.
Yeah. So you can pick up your phone, do a 5-minute video, you record that. We talk about all the things that Alan did, where there's audio, video, there's multiple social pieces that can come out of that, and I suppose you can do a blog post on that too.
Yeah.
So a 5-minute blog post is how many words is that? A couple hundred words, probably.
Probably more than that. Depends on how much you're talking during the video.
Okay.
If you're yammering on about stuff, it could be probably like an 800 to 1,000 words, or maybe it's a series. This actually happened with a client. Like the guy took our idea and expanded upon it for 2,000 words, and we're like, this is too long, man. So what we did is we just made a series. All right, this product, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, and then it became like this kind of people started following it. They're waiting for the next one. So you created this series out of this whole thing. So if you have a really long video, cut it up, and then now you have 5 videos that are each 3 minutes a piece or whatever, or maybe more than that. You probably want something a little more compelling, and then each one of those has. So if you made a long, let's say 20-minute long video, 4 or 5-minute videos, each one of those do the exact same method I just mentioned, exponentially reaching 5 pieces of content per video, might have 20 pieces of content.
Yep.
All about the same thing. So that'd be a really easy, not easy, but effective way of marketing yourself without putting a lot of time and effort to every little thing,
So creating content doesn't have to be that hard. People
Correct.
that are listening right now don't have to be, all right, I'm going to go home with my pencil and paper and have to write 2,000 words down. Like, it doesn't have to be
You don't have
that
to
way.
go to a cabin at the top of the hill in the woods.
Yeah.
Spielberg magic and all that. Right, like,
You just need to pick up the phone and talk about things that your business sells.
you don't have to hire Pixar. It's okay.
Yeah. Excellent. So we talked a little bit about helping flipsies, for instance. So that was a good example that we could talk about. I wanted to kind of pick your brain on live advice, because people that have listened to this podcast before will remember some of our previous guests and kind of taking this same methodology. So we had a customer on probably 4 or 5 ago. The name of their URL is CakeSafe.
Oh, okay.
So they sell it's a plexiglass container that you can ship cakes in, real fancy, $1,000, multi-$1,000 cakes.
Yeah.
And so, for them, how, following that same methodology in like a 1 or 2 minute synopsis, like what advice would you give them?
Who needs a cake safe?
Bakers.
Okay, and bakers
high-end.
There you go.
Like wedding,
high-end bakers, wedding bakers, people who are really going to corporate events,
super fancy cupcakes.
Yeah.
They make TV shows about cupcakes.
Yeah,
right.
Right. There's I've seen those on what they call Netflix.
Yeah.
Where there's a whole show about the fancy bakeries and stuff like that.
Yeah. So for them, I mean, we know because we talked to them a little bit. Some of the questions were, how do I ship a cake, right? And I think they have followed the path to become thought leaders in that. So
yeah.
So it's interesting. That made me think of: do you always even have to create the content? How much of curating content and adding an opinion to it can actually help you? And I'm really, something Jesse just said made me think about it. So the Cake Wars is one of the shows, and I think even at one time they had talked to them, sponsorship or something like that. At one point they're like, oh yeah, we love it, but we can't use you guys because a large part of the drama of the show is transporting the cake from when they did it to making it over to the table, and they want it to fall.
And having it fall over and everybody crying.
It's part of the show, right? But so what I just started thinking out loud while I was listening to you guys talk was, what if you took, I don't know the exact rules, but you took a video that's out there of the cake falling.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, don't let this happen to you.
Right.
Some form of
You could piggyback off of that. That's a really good point. So you could say, have you seen Cake Wars? You seen those people with their faces and they drop their cake that they had there? That's you don't want that to happen to you. And you run a business. You're not on a TV show. You're running a business. This is your money on the line. So what you need to do is get something to protect your cake. Have I got the thing for you? And there's this product that they have that actually protects this cake, and it's this and that and such and such. It has all these features, and high-end bakers use it, and it's cake safe, right? And you can build a video or a piece of content off of that idea, piggybacking off of something they already know is popular. Remember I mentioned before, you're using an idea that is already out there and tying it into your idea. Because the people, they may not heard of Cake Safe, but they understand the drama. And what better drama than on a TV show? And then you may not be able to use a video clip because they may be like, well, we'll sue you or whatever. But you could say, have you seen that? And maybe make your own video and and drop a cake or whatever it is, or make an animation of someone dropping their cake or whatever it is. But you don't even have to, like with a blog post, for example, you don't have to draw anything. You could just make an article about that, and
just
then
need to write.
Social media hashtag Cake Safe or hashtag Cake Wars, or or even hit them up. Because a lot of times, what I would do, even with the podcast, was mention somebody that I covered on a show, SEM Rush, for example, and reach out to them. Hey, I mentioned you on the show, and then on Twitter, and you'd be surprised how many people write back and say thank you or I love it. That's great. And then we'll promote your own product inadvertently by talking to you, or maybe in the case of one product, Raven Tools, they sent us T-shirts and gave us a link from their website, and it was really fun. So but I mean, don't expect all that. But that being said, that would be the perfect example where I would take that product, tie it into something that everyone knows, or at least everybody who's paying attention, including bakers, because those are the people who are really listening to that show or watching that show, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. You said something else there that keeps sparring all these new thoughts. So I know we're not lawyers, and so check with someone on the exact nuances of this. But what would be a basic, just saying, "Oh, I got this from this website, and maybe referring back to Cake Wars or something like that, because at least if they feel like they're getting some sort of credit for it, that it was theirs, it seems like in some way, why, unless you were a real nitpicky business, why would you care? Because it's just another link back to you. They're talking to bakers. They want more
Yeah.
Are they really? So is there like this, do at least this, say, reference the site you got it from, give credit to somebody.
Yeah.
Is there some basic structure that someone should follow?
I think with you, when you generate a blog or any kind of thing where you're borrowing ideas and or content, you definitely want to reference the content. Don't borrow images. I've learned that, like the what do you call it? The
Trademark.
the trademarking and the company Getty.
Oh yeah,
they'll come after you. And I had a poor lady I was talking to that she borrowed an image from an online source, and then basically what happened? The Getty came after her and said that she owes them money and $700 or something for an image. What are you crazy?
Yeah.
But so anyway, long story short, you definitely want to curate your own, or maybe even ask permission. If you know Cake Wars, in the case of this scenario, they had an in and they said we can't use you, but hey, well then I understand that. Do you mind if I use your video as an example? A lot of times under parody, you can get away with it anyway, but why not get permission from them? They're like, yeah, sure, we understand, but that's great. You're promoting our show, and it's like, look at the drama, and you can make it a positive spin, but like, oh my gosh, so yeah, Cake Wars, we want to help the people that are not on TV, and then you can kind of tie it together and make it a kind of a friendly thing. And I think that if you have those kind of ins, and you're in the right place. But if you don't, make sure that you're at least giving credit if they have an idea or something and a lot of times when you give them credit, then you're actively promoting them. So therefore, they're really grateful for that.
They're happy.
Yeah.
And that's how you start getting links.
Exactly. And that's where you say, hey, at Cake Wars on Twitter,
Yep.
I mentioned you on my show or my video or whatever it is I had, and they'll probably thank you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've used a couple of URLs here, so I think we have to apply this strategy. So, Speedy, when you're doing the transcript here, we talked about SEMrush, write them. We want to link from them. So yeah,
Exactly.
That's the idea. You mention people and
This
provide
podcast.
a link to them. We mentioned them in this podcast. So, so we want some links.
Yeah, there you go. And then maybe SEMrush will at least give you a shout out on Twitter.
Yeah,
Why not?
Free account.
Yeah.
We want some free stuff here.
Yeah. I got one more tool to mention.
All right,
BuzzSumo.
BuzzSumo.
It's actually a really great one, because if you're looking for people to reach out to now that you built your content and doing all that stuff, go to BuzzSumo. You get some free. It's a paid service, but you get a couple searches for free, and you can find influencers in your space. So you could type in cake, and then whoever mentions cake, it'll show you articles and or Twitter people, and who's the most popular and who's the most likely to respond to you. So if you don't know who to write to,
Oh, I didn't. So it has the most likely to respond.
yeah, there's like
I didn't
a
know
reply retweet ratio.
Oh,
so if it's like someone has 1,000 followers and the retweet ratio is basically 90% versus someone who has 1 million followers but the retweet ratio is 0, I'd probably follow the 1,000 person, because they're likely to promote my content.
Sure.
And sometimes you can find really gold nuggets in there that a lot of times you don't know about, that people are really into your product, and then you reach them and they're like, oh my gosh, I really love that thing.
You can start following them.
Yeah.
Send them pictures.
Yeah.
Maybe this 5-minute video that you created.
Yeah,
you send them
exactly.
that 5-minute video and the blog post that's attached to it. So.
Absolutely. That's how to get to amplify your voice. You could take that idea, take everything you're going on there, and then go on a tool like that and talk to the right types of people, bakers and promoters, or people that are really into pastries or weddings even, and then get them to help you promote your own products.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. I think that's a really good kind of refresher for SEO for me. I know now I can think of a couple ideas for some of my side projects that I need to start working on, and I'm probably going to make Rich hold up his phone for me. We're going to do a 5-minute video and then make all these pieces of content. So I hope the people that are listening right now, in the workout or car, are thinking, all right, I can do this too. I can do a 5-minute video, create all these pieces. So think about listen again or go check out the blog post for all the different links we had on this that we talked about. So you don't have to remember them. They'll be in the blog post, show notes and everything. So, Alan, that's awesome. So you teach a class, Professor
Professor
Bush.
Professor, yes, or an instructor, I should say.
Instructor, yeah.
UCSD, University of California, San Diego.
Yeah, so for other people that want to hear more from you, I mean, where else are you online?
I'm on Twitter, Alan H. Bush at Twitter. I'm also the VP of Operations and the head of the SEO department at Ignite Visibility. So if you need an agency thing, go to Ignite Visibility. You can reach me, like I said, Alan H. Bush on Twitter. On LinkedIn, I'm Alan Bush, I believe. I think this is the handle.
Did you able to get Alan Bush and all?
Yeah, I pretty much got, at least the H is my middle name. So it's basically, you can reach me, Alan H. Bush, almost on everything. But social media, the ones I'm most prominent on are Twitter and LinkedIn. And then, of course, just reach out. I would love to hear from anybody who wants some advice.
Oh, that's perfect. So, Alan, really appreciate you being on the show.
Absolutely.
Richard, another good show. It's a Friday.
Yeah, good stuff. Ready to get to work.
Oh, yeah.
Start applying this.
Let's get to work. Everybody out there, make it happen. Do you have followers? Do you have an audience? Do you have influence that you haven't turned into money? We can. YouTubers, podcasters, speakers, streamers, authors, and Instagrammers, we can help you turn your influence into money with a print-on-demand store on Ecwid. Not only do we know how to build it, we'll build it for you. If you are that influencer that's ready for results, we have an opportunity for you. Email podcasts@ecwid.com. That's podcasts with an S at ecwid.com.